and welcome to this interview series ahead of Cloud Expo Europe on the 6th and 7th of March at Excel London. I'm Rebecca Uffindale, tech reporter at Techarati, and today my guest is Georgina Owens, Chief Technology Officer at William Hill. Georgina Owens will appear at Cloud Expo Europe in March, but today we're going to talk about some significant points in Georgina's life and career that have shaped their life and career. So welcome to the interview series, and thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me today. So you're Chief Technology Officer at William Hill. What have been some key goals that you've achieved so far in your tenure there?
I've only been at William Hill for 10 months now, and it's been an absolute roller coaster, which is exciting if you like change, which I do. We've been through a number of changes. We have a new chief exec coming in, so all sorts of great challenges. But more than anything, what I've managed to do and achieve is to build a really great team around me and start to develop the culture and to get really good alignment and team building happening.
What have you done throughout your life that have kind of lived up to that kind of mantra of wanting to experience new things and try different positions or job roles?
Being in technology, adapting to change is critical. We are constantly seeing new things coming along, and having a mindset of innovation and experimentation is what really helps to make businesses successful. And it hasn't, it's not always easy to convince people that change is good. I think, change can also be unsettling, particularly if you have change with ambiguity. So I think, change within a framework is what is really important. And again, going back to leadership, I think if you're providing strong guidance and vision to your teams, then change can be invigorating. If it just comes out of the blue and isn't explained, then it can be very unsettling.
Is there a way that you help manage the expectations of your team? Is there a strategy you employ for that?
Yeah, very much so. And I think like I say, it's all about communications, right? And one thing around communications and leadership is you will never get it right, ever. You will, no matter how many times you communicate, what form you communicate, you'll either be accused of over communicating, under communicating. You'll never get it right. So I think you have to try and balance it. And I think open and transparency is what's really important. At the moment, we're all in the middle of AI and Gen AI and all the different forms of AI and automation and the benefits that it can bring, and expectations are different across different parts of the organization. And so we need to embrace it. We need to not be scared of it, but we also need to constantly link it back to value. Change for the sake of change without really thinking about the value that you're going to deliver to the business isn't going to be something that's necessarily good to do. So I think, value framework, link it to the vision, link it to the strategy, but think about the impact as well. What is the impact going to be on people? And also think about the fact that people don't all move at the same speed. So, whereas you might get one person who's like an eager puppy, every time you give them something new, they just run around and they just can't wait. And you'll get others that are just not quite so keen. They might take their time and step up to it and sniff it and walk away and come back. So I think you've got to balance. And if you've got a team, you've got to go at the speed of the fastest person, but also the speed of the slowest person, and consider that for each of those people, they could be frustrated by the other one. So it's keeping that harmony, and therefore keeping momentum.
I'm interested to hear, where do you think you'd lie on this scale?
My natural inclination is the puppy that runs around and gets excited, but experience has taught me to slow down and look at the bigger picture. try and take a measured approach to what it is that we want to do and how we want to do it, and how we want to embrace whatever the new shiny technology is that, you know, is coming along and that we think can add value to us.
Do you have a suspicion of what new technology could be on the horizon?
No, I'm not going to say that I do, because I don't think any of us know how quickly this is going to move and what the impact is going to be. We can see lots of places where we can use it. I think if you just look at the last 4 years, the speed of technology adoption since COVID has ramped up much faster than any of us probably thought it would do. And yet, you know, we're still not in a cashless society, and we're probably not going to be in a cashless society for a very long time, although people like, you know, been raving about the fact that that's what we're going to do. There's still an awful lot of people that like people. We know now humans are very adaptable and very clever, right? And people have worked out how you get past the chatbot. So we can put as many chatbots as we like in, but if you can bypass the chatbot and go straight into a human, then that's what we'll probably want to do. So humans are adaptable, you know, and although we're kind of talking about more automation, more robotics, more AI, I think humans might end up outsmarting the robots. There you go. There's my prediction.
And what have been some standout leadership or team qualities that you've experienced throughout your career?
I am passionate about ensuring that if I see bad behaviour, toxic behaviour, that I deal with it immediately. Everybody in my team knows that, you know, if they see something that's not right, that feel that's not right, that they can surface it and something will be done about it. You know, somebody said to me once, if you walk past something that's happening that you don't like and you don't do anything about it, you're effectively allowing it to happen. And I've seen so many cases where, you know, head in the sand, I'm going to pretend that that's not happening over there, I'm not going to tackle it. I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with people who are sort of like, oh, I want my next step in my career to be your job, and like, okay, well, let's just talk about what my job is. Let's have a chat about some of the things that you have to deal with and some of the things that you have to face up to. And I think it is not easy. It's not easy dealing with the politics of an organisation. It's not easy dealing with bad behaviour. It's not easy with disappointing people, you know, people who are actually outstanding and good, but you've got nowhere for them to go. You know, you have to have such a vast range of skills to deal with teams and to get teams to be successful and high performing.
Have you had a mentor or someone who was that person that you could look up to, which has enabled you to be the leader you are today?
So I've had many people in my network that I've worked with that I've learned from. I've not really had a single mentor that I've worked with. I've kind of really worked with the power of the network and had people that, you know, I can call upon. And it's kind of in the moments of self-doubt, you know, when you're like, oh my God, I just can't do this. Reach out to people who can help you through that, help you through those times when you just can't see how to get through the current situation. So that sounding board, someone that you can trust, I think, you know, someone just to have a laugh with sometimes, you know, and just say, oh my God, my day is going so badly and I just need to talk to somebody about it, and someone to lighten the mood and relieve the pressure. So, and you'll have different people in your network that will be good for different things. So yeah, so not a single mentor, but a network of mentors.
Working in COVID, I'm sure during this technology boom and people going more offline and working remotely, how was that experience for you?
It wasn't great. You know, where I was at the time, we went through having to furlough people, you know, and so those conversations were not good. You know, I lost family during that time. So there was a lot of bad things, but I think there were quite a lot of good things as well. The quiet roads, the peace, the connecting. It was ups and downs. It was ups and downs for everybody. But I've spoken to a few people, and there's quite a few people that actually miss the peace and calm and the slowdown that we got through that period.
I do agree in the sense that, self-care and self-reflection and stillness is still quite necessary. I'm not sure if you agree about that at all.
I agree completely. And we've gone back to absolute craziness. If I go out here and drive down the streets now, the traffic, it's gridlock. There's more cars on the road. People were walking, they were getting fresh air, and they were relying less on driving everywhere. And now it's just, complete and utter craziness again.
So true.
And I think the other thing that came out of it was the realization that you can have a work-life balance. So working from home, the real turnaround that I have seen since then with the whole working from home thing is the balance of men taking more of the childcare. And so, being in technology, which is predominantly male, in most organizations, it's incredible now because it'll be like, well, no, I can't do a 3 o'clock meeting because I'm going to do child pickup. It's like, whoa, okay, that always used to be the woman that was doing that.
So true.
And it really, really changed. And I think that is just such a massive advantage that came out of that time.
How do you think you set yourself apart from other technology leaders, considering you won an award for women in IT? How does that feel to be kind of acknowledged in that space?
It's definitely humbling. I think it is superb because it gives hope to other women within the industry. If you look at the numbers, the reality is that we are still a very small number of females compared to males in the industry. I'm just looking at the gender diversity. I know there's many other aspects of diversity as well that are equally as bad, but just looking at the gender diversity, and the figures are getting worse. I think there's been a bit of a backlash in that people feel there's been positive discrimination, but there definitely hasn't been positive discrimination. There's been positive discrimination to get women into the pipeline at the beginning of the pipeline, to show that I love the thing that you're invited to the party, but nobody asks you to dance, and it's kind of a bit like that, really. And I want to see those numbers go beyond the pipeline. I want to see that once you've got people into the pipeline, what is then the acceptance rate? How many people get beyond that first stage? Because I had a situation recently where somebody was talking to me. They contacted me about a role. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, always be nice to people, have a conversation, see if it's if it's not right for you, if you can help or whatever. And it was at the point where they went, well, we've actually got a couple of candidates who are really advanced in the process, but they'd like to have a diverse candidate. I was like, okay. And not surprisingly, soon after that, I was told that the candidates in process were successful, or the one at the front was successful. And it's like, that was never a real opportunity. You just needed to demonstrate that you had a mixed pipeline, and I think that's quite sad. And I think we need to call it out, and we do need to we need recruitment companies to help change that.
How do you think we can address that in the space? Is it a way of being more authentically targeting people, or is it just that we need to celebrate what can be achieved in the industry, or celebrate the people rather than the technology? What do you think is the solution to that?
Yeah, it's a whole range of things. And definitely, the reason why I'm talking to you, the reason why I'm presenting, is because being seen as a role model is really important. And I think, as a female in technology, I have a responsibility to do that. And it's just so heartwarming when you do it and people come up to you and just say, oh my God, seeing you up there gives me hope. It makes me, want to push harder, want to try harder. We have to work with schools. We have to work, with our children. And we have to encourage people to come into the technology space. But you know what? It is tough being the only female in the room, because we do think differently, and very often our ideas will be dismissed, not for any malicious reason, just because we do think differently, and the majority are thinking in one way. It needs a smart, brave person to go, let's just listen to that point of view, which is a little bit different. So yeah, and we're seeing drop-offs, right? We're seeing so many people join the industry and then they just drop out and go, decide that they want to go and do something else.
I wonder if there's a person in particular you have in your mind that has been someone that's said a comment to you after speaking and you thought, wow, that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Yes, there's been quite a few. I mean, it's great with people that I know, but you kind of feel like, well, they know you anyway, so they're there to support. But it's when a complete stranger comes up to you or reaches out on LinkedIn afterwards and just says, you inspired me. Seeing you doing that, seeing you up there, that really inspired me to keep pushing forward and to continue and fight to achieve what you've achieved. So that makes it all worthwhile.
Before your speaker session next month, is there anything you want to share, any insights or anything you want to tell our audiences before that you appear?
It'll be brilliant. It'll be amazing. Come along and participate, really, because it's hard work to make the time in your diary to attend events like this. But what you get out of it in terms of meeting new people, hearing lots of different people's views, and just having the opportunity to maybe come and bring some of your own ideas and share with other people as well. And who knows, you could end up landing yourself a speaking position for the next series of events.
And I have one final thing to ask you, speaking about going there and hearing perspectives, and that's brilliant advice you've just given, to put yourself out there because you don't know what's in store. What's the best piece of advice that someone's given you?
Plan your career.
Wow, that's very practical. I love that.
It came too late, unfortunately. I would have liked that to have come a lot earlier in my career, because I kind of drifted a lot, just because opportunities were there and it was great. And I don't regret any of those opportunities that I took. But if I'd have had more of a clear roadmap of kind of where I wanted to end up, I may have done things differently.
I think in this case, I'm sure it's not bad or good, different, but was there more of a direct way perhaps you could have taken your career to where you are now? Is that what you're kind of communicating there?
Absolutely. There's things that I should have done that I didn't do, that would have absolutely materialistically changed my career path.